What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Smackdown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bray Wyatt really is coming back to WWE, a WWE draft coming soon, a fired WWE star is all elite, a WWE Hall of Famer says no amount of money can get him back to return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Now, as always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good is number 1, Heroes Will Rise. A Madcap Moss stepped out tonight by lending a hand to Drew McIntyre when it looked like the Scottish Warrior was going to face the Usos in a handicap match. This was an old school move that harkened back to the days when babyfaces could be counted on to help another babyface in a pinch. This segment also helped elevate Moss by pairing him with a main eventer and showing Madcap doing more than just holding his own. Number 2, Heroes Will Fall. Kofi tried to avenge Xavier Woods' injury by attacking the Viking Raiders, but Eric and Ivar proved to be too much. This segment was a good way to show Kingston's heart and the Raiders' ruthlessness, inviting the question whether anyone will help Sir Kingston out or will soon be joining King Woods at an undisclosed medical facility. Number 3, Ronda brings out the killer. Ronda's short pep talk to Baszler was a great way to cement the return of badass Baszler and show that Rowdy Ronda doesn't care how the WWE sanctions her for doing what she wants. Rousey dumping a bag of cash out was perfect. If the WWE wants to keep her as a babyface, it shows she's anti-authority, and if it wants to present her as a heel, it shows she's incapable of being stopped by management. Number 4, a brawl for all. There were several excellent brawls last night, ranging from Drew McIntyre throwing down with the Usos, Kofi Kingston clashing with the Viking Raiders, and Shayna Baszler going after Liv Morgan's bad wing. There may come a time when WWE needs to cut back on the fracas, but last night wasn't the night. Number 5, Hit Row returns. The rumors are true, and Hit Row is the latest future endeavored act to find their way back to WWE. Their return saw them take out the hapless local yokels and then cut a strong promo touting their return. Normally we're not a big fan of using local talent, but here they were used properly to debut Hit Row and make them look good. Why waste a future match between Hit Row and one of SmackDown's established teams if you don't have to? Number 6, Short but Sweet. Karrion Kross cut a brief promo that was ideal for his character, succinct but strong. Kross should be portrayed as enigmatic, so there's no need for lengthy rants. There was plenty to enjoy in this short segment, as Kross talking about being cast out of paradise while looking menacing the entire time. As for Scarlett, Kross's manager has perfected a sultry stare so well that viewers were likely looking for her OnlyFans as soon as this segment ended. Number 7, Angel and Humberto tempt Maxine. It's fantastic to see Angel Garza back to his lethal Lothario character as he and cousin Humberto Carrillo approached Dupree about joining the Maximum Male Models. Unfortunately for Max, they weren't talking to him, so when Dupree rebuffed him, Angel made it known that they wanted to do business with Sister Maxine. And we like the idea of Garza and Carrillo flirting with Dupree's sister and possibly stealing a contract and starting a feud between Max and Maxine's respective teams. Number 8, a good build-up for Roman vs. Drew. Roman Reigns isn't around, but his presence could be felt throughout his proxies, the Usos. Drew McIntyre cut one of the best promos of his career, pointing out that unlike Roman Reigns, he defeated Brock Lesnar all on his own. While it's doubtful McIntyre will emerge with the Undisputed Championship at Clash at the Castle, even though Reigns is long overdue for dropping the belt, his promo conveyed the idea that it's not only capable of defeating Reigns, but that he's going to. The WWE also enticed the fans to tune into next week as Reigns and McIntyre meet face to face. And a massive main event. We hate to see Nakamura lose, but last night his job, literally and metaphorically, was to continue Gunther's build as a powerful champion. Gunther didn't squash the King of Strong Style, but his victory looked convincing enough that it's clear that it's going to take a top star to bring the A-game before Gunther drops the belt. This is good news for Gunther fans and fans of the IC Championship. But that was a good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Liv needs help. Although Morgan's promo was solid, fans aren't buying a scrappy underdog act as champion. The decision to give her a fluke win over Ronda Rousey, who should have been protected from 2 straight losses to Morgan, had a push and fans resented, especially since Morgan seems to be boasting of it. The WWE has 2 options for helping Morgan. The first is to add a layer of toughness to her character, perhaps by having a veteran help her hone her submission skills. The second is to have her turn heel, take ownership of her cheap win, and embrace the fans' enmity. The idea of a white bread babyface like Morgan turning heel may seem ridiculous, but if Bayley's heel turn taught us anything, it shows that the most basic babyface can turn into a complete badass. The alternative is for WWE to continue its current course and turn Liv into another Nikki Ash. Number 2, another contract signing. At the thought of a brawl breaking out during a contract signing, who would have ever saw this coming? Now, while we enjoy Triple H dialing up the violence on Raw and Smackdown, why didn't he show his creativity by changing things up and either skipping the cliched contract signing or take it in a new direction? There was nothing downright ugly as Smackdown was solid from start to finish, and it made up for last week's episode, which was surprisingly uneven. Hit Row's return should liven up the tag team scene, and the WWE's build-up of its undercard is another good sign for the Blue Brand's future. What would you guys think of the Blue Brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now, first story looks at how will Cody Rhodes' push be affected by Triple H. At top of the news today is a big question being raised now that Triple H has taken over the WWE's creative department. Just how will Cody Rhodes' push be handled by Helmsley, a man who Rhodes has major heat with when he left the WWE in 2016 and after? AEW will remember the segment at AEW's inaugural Double or Nothing where the American Nightmare destroyed a Triple H's throne with a sledgehammer. Triple H will no doubt remember too, which could be a problem for Cody. While Cody Rhodes claims he's reconciled with Helmsley over his recent return this year, fans have to be asking if there's any ill will and how it could affect Cody when he returns from his pectoral injury. The Madman Wrestling podcast Andrew Zarian addressed this issue, stating Rhodes is still in for a push when he returns, including plenty of plans for WrestleMania 39. Do you think Cody's push will continue under the Triple H regime, or should he get his makeup ready for a go at Stardust 2023? Next up, Hit Row returns. A Hit Row returned to last night's Smackdown, squashing local talent before cutting a promo letting the WWE Universe know that they're back. Top Dollar, Ashanti the Adonis, and B-Fab appeared, yet the latest act to come back to the WWE following Triple H's takeover. While Swerve Strickland won't be joining them since he's under contract in AEW, the trio could help freshen up the babyface side of Smackdown. Next up, Bray Wyatt is returning, and we mean it. It's time for the latest edition of Bray Wyatt is returning to the WWE, where we look at what news site is claiming Wyatt's return is imminent. Now, you'll likely recall that Fightful Select recently reported Wyatt is headed back to the WWE, and our PW Torch's Wade Keller is throwing in his 2 cents, as during an episode of PWTorch.com's audio show, Keller commented, "I can back up Fightful's reporting that Bray is likely back in WWE soon." Now, continue to take caution, but it's exciting to be a wrestling fan right now. Next up, a WWE draft coming soon. Speaking of excitement, with Triple H running the show, fans are curious how he'll handle the WWE draft. Fans could find out very soon as Fightful reports that there's internal speculation amongst WWE talent that the draft will take place right after Clash at the Castle, potentially as soon as 9th September on SmackDown and 12th September on Raw. This would likely be seen as a good way for the WWE to build up momentum as the National Football League's regular season begins on 8th September. Next up, a fired WWE star is All Elite. A former NXT superstar Parker Boudreaux debuted on Rampage last night, defeating Sonic Kiss in his first televised match. Later that night, Boudreaux laid out best friends, joining the Trustbusters in beating down the babyfaces. He wasn't alone as Sonic Kiss shocked the wrestling world by turning heel on Orange Cassidy, delivering a low blow that allowed Parker the chance to plant OC into the ring. Wrestling's hiring spree continues as both Triple H and Khan are signing talent faster than Sonic the Hedgehog collects gold rings. And finally, a WWE Hall of Famer says no amount of money can get him back. And last but not least, wrestling villain $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase once boasted that everyone has a price, but not for two-time Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, who claims no amount of money could get him back into the ring. Nash commented on the latest Click This podcast, "The thought of my rickety ass body hitting that wood? Nah man." Nash said not even Saudi Arabia money would get him to return to the squared circle. "You come to me with $500,000 and let me take 2 bumps? F you, what am I gonna do with that? Let me put that in the bank with the rest of my money I don't spend." At 63, Nash sounds like he's financially sound and smart enough to know the value of a healthy body over a quick payday and potential injuries. Something Shawn Michaels didn't take note of. But there you have it folks, our look at this week's edition of Smack, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.